For our next project, what we're going to do is divide up our composition into 4 different stages. We're going to do this for a couple of different pages here. So I'm going to start it off with a singular page here and very quickly make a couple of lines to help get the top and bottom of this defined. So I'm going to get a line at the top and a line at the bottom. I'm going to use a marker for this. Now you can use a ruler if you want to, but it's not absolutely necessary. And we're going to make some different environments for some animals here. And I'm going to use some varying colors to kind of help that out specifically. This first one over here, I'm going to make a little bit Arctic. So I'm going to choose some colors that are going to kind of go along with that. Arctic kind of colors. Arctic or Antarctic, I should say. And very quickly, I'm going to go over the surface with some blues. And I'm using a back and forth kind of drawing with this to kind of get the land that's on here. I'm going to get some lighter colors on top and some darker colors on the bottom, but I'm going to mix them a bit. And get some darker colors down here. There we go. And we're going to see what black and white animals look in different environments. I'm going to start off with a little more dark blue on the bottom. And then use my white up on top to kind of blend these out, move them together. This is going to be different for each. Here we go. All right. So next up, I'm going to do more of a desert environment and get some other kind of colors for this area. And I'm going to start off with a lighter color to start off with. Get that. And with these, you can make them different ranges of colors, however you want, back and forth with these. But you're going to see that different colors will blend differently for different kinds of animals. Because some animals work with a savanna. They might be in an area with lots of browns, reds, and yellows. There we go. I think I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to that now, because that needs to have a little bit more of a change. There we go. That's a little bit healthier. Now what we're doing is backing up these with different colors to try to see what the animal is going to look like in that field, in that area. So you want to try to mix up different colors in different ways to try to see how this works out. I think for this one, I am going to use a little bit of blue-green as well. So, and for each of these, I'm starting off with a base lighter color. Working with a lighter color makes it a little bit easier to work with and see. You can coat a good deal of your surface with this one kind of color and then change it up with the colors that you got. Now, if you want to find an actual landscape with these types of colors involved, you can totally do that for your animals. But I am just going through and picking some similar colors to see what these animals will look like in these environments. Some of them might be a little bit easier to see, and some of them might be a little more difficult. Finally, we'll get over on this one here and try some other colors I think I'm going to go more into the darker blue and purple range here, so we can see what each of them are going to look like in different ranges. Get my lighter color, that blue, and I'm just making it darker in some places by pressing down just a little bit harder, and going to make it lighter in others using different colors. There's some violet here for some nice range. There we go. And now what I can do is use my brush to blend these colors together. Now I am using a little bit of water here for this, and with the watercolor pastels that I've got, I'm just going to start smoothing that over onto the surface, blending those together so that they become a large field of color. There we go. Clean that off a little bit. And about to it over here for a different range of color. Now we use different ranges of color in here because they're going to make our animals look very different from place to place. So I'm going to carry that over, try to get all of my colors blended and changed out in the order that I made them in so that they can dry. In this case, I'm going to be using a lot of green, so I'm going to be blending that together. There we go. And I'll finish off with the dark blue. Putting those dark blues and violets together in a scope and range of color. Here we go. We can go up to the edge if we want to with this, making sure that each one is really nice and tight. We've got a full range of color on each. Do is take a look at the different types of animals that have black and white upon them. Now, you can draw these pretty much any way that you want, but we want to make them big enough so that they're going to fit into the space that we've already determined. So I'm going to grab a pencil here and sketch out 4 different animals, and then basically get them so that they fit into those different environments. So I'm going to divide up my page into quarters here, 4 different parts, and make each of those animals in each of these different parts. So I think I'll start off with a penguin first of all. I'm going to create a head here, get the beak. I want the body of the penguin, a nice rectangle. I'm going to get the brush tail right here. And I'm going to get the coloring of the chest and the feet and the wing. So there, I've got the basics of a penguin. I'm going to move over here and do the orca. We've got a big head, the mouth. It's kind of like a fish, but its back tail will make a change horizontally. It's got a fin up top, fins on the side, fin on the bottom. They have these really big white spots near the top, and they have a white body section in the lower part. Then we've got some other animals that are land-based, which have some black and white to them as well. So I'm going to get the zebra. I'm going to draw a really simple horse with some shapes here. Get the legs. Now these don't have to be terribly accurate. If you want to take a look at pictures of these types of animals, then you can. And you can do that and see how they're going to look. And we get the stripes on the zebra or zebra, depending upon who you're talking to. There we go. And finally, a panda. All of these are animals with black and white upon them. Now, you can spend a lot of time and make these animals really accurate if you want to. I'm doing kind of a cartoony version of them. I'm going to have my panda eating bamboo here. Have a little sprig of bamboo for him to chew on. So now that we've got all those down, the next thing that I'm going to do is use a black marker to kind of ink them in so that we can see the dark and the light sections. So I'll start off with my penguin here. Now you don't have to ink in the whole thing. In fact, you're probably going to get some of your animals colored in differently than others. One of the things that I'm going to do is make a little bit of a line here to show the difference between where the wing is on the penguin compared to the body. There we go. Yeah, its brush tail and its feet. There we are. Look at the orca. Yeah, the black that I'm using for this is just a marker, just a simple black marker. You can darken it in with a different tool if you want to. You can use a pencil if you want, whatever you like. I'm just doing really quick sketches of differences between black and white. These are often called no-tan drawings. No-tan is a Japanese term which talks about specifically black and white. I'm starting to run out of ink with my black pen here, so I'm going to change it over. Use a different pen for the other two. Use a different marker, because it's starting to run out of juice. And sometimes that happens. If that happens and you start getting gray, then you can always change it up. So I'm going to use a different marker here. There we go. Get the zebra or the zebra, depending upon who you ask. Pronunciation is different in different parts of the world. So I'm going to get the stripes on the body of the zebra or zebra. The tail. And get the hooves on the bottom. There we go. And finally, the panda. Get the black ears, the white parts of those body, the head, and we know that they've got a white belly, black feet. There we go. So now that we've got each of those different animals in our white and black version, what I'm going to do is cut them out and apply them to our other surfaces. And we'll take a look and see how those look together. So our last step on these, we are going to take each of the different animals that we have here, and I've cut each of them out. We're going to place each one in an area that shows off their contrast. We're going to basically take each of these and cut into them so that we cut out the white and black parts. So I'm going to start off with the panda here, and very simply just cut around until I have the basic shape of the panda. Now, if you need an adult's help, you can do this, or you can use stickers or pre-printed pages or something that will show you just the black and white area of your animal so that you can put it down in an area that's going to be colored similar to how it stands out. I'm starting with a panda and looking at the different backgrounds that I've used for color. I think probably the easiest way to tell the difference between its color is looking at the one that the color is going to be more appropriate for our panda. And pandas are native to China, and they usually live in green environments. So I can place it right down in there, and we can see how it would look in that type of environment. Next up, I'm going to take the penguin and very simply cut into the penguin here so that I can get all of the different shapes that are involved. Get all of the edges, the body and the head. Now, if you don't get really close on this, that's okay. Keep in mind, it's just going to be white and black, so there might be some edges that you miss. They don't have to be perfect. The important thing is that you can tell what type of animal it is. Then I get the foot of my penguin here. And most of the time, the penguins will be in the Arctic, so they'll be in this type of area. Now, they might be swimming in this fashion where the dark will be close to the darker section in through here, or it might be in the upper section where the lighter part will be compared to the sky. Next up, we've got the orca. I'm going to take the orca and start cutting out pieces of that and then arrange it in the space that we need. Gonna get the tail here. Taking any scraps of paper that I've got and moving them over to the side because I won't need them. I just need the orca itself. Now, the orca is probably going to be in the deeper waters because it dives pretty darn deep in the oceans of the Arctic. So I'm going to put it in the dark blue area, and you can see how just the white areas start to create contrast and have it stand out. Next, we've got the zebra, and I'm going to finish this off by cutting out the zebra and putting it into the brown area to kind of show its savanna colors. Like it lives on the savanna. In Africa, with browns and yellows, different colors together. Because even though these creatures, even though these animals are mainly white and black, they live in very differently colored places. And their colors and values look different and change how they are seen in their area. Sometimes they're tough to see, and sometimes they're easy to see. There we go. And there's our zebra on the savanna.